Indeed, it is the 12th day of August 2025. A very good morning to you wherever you are this beautiful Tuesday morning, a day that we discuss matters parenting. Amazing conversation right here on Family Matters. And this morning, I'm excited to be having an amazing panel with me, and we'll be talking about, childhood trauma. That scar that still whispers. Last week we spoke about healed childhood trauma because our guest said they've healed. But this time, my guest feels like they've not yet healed. They're taking a step at a time. They're almost there sometimes they're not. So it is, there are those whispers of, no, not yet, you're not yet there. So it is a conversation I urge you to be part of. Talk to me on SMS line 20316, WhatsApp number 0786316316. That is our WhatsApp line. Be part of these conversations. If you have any questions, feedback, concerns, I have an amazing expert here on Matters Counseling. She'll be introducing herself, and also let's listen to my other guest who will be taking us through her journey. Karibuni sana. Thank you ladies for making time, for just being here. I really do appreciate. I'll start with you, Cindy, to introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Cinderella Otieno. I am a talent coach.
Okay.
I teach people how to use soft skills to be better people in the society.
Okay.
Yes.
You're making the society, but you want to leave this place a better place.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Karibu sana. Daktari.
Thank you very much, Sally. It's an honor to be here again. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Good to meet you, Cindy. And you're doing a great thing. Yeah, so, yeah.
Isn't it? Always a pleasure having you, Daktari.
Thank you.
Cindy, just to start us off, because you're talking about scars that still whisper, you're scarred. But before we get there, can you just take us through tell us about your childhood a bit?
My childhood was unpredictable.
Okay.
It was violent, 9 out of 10 times. You wake up in the morning not knowing what's going to transpire today. A kind of childhood where you would see your dad sharpen a machete because they want to kill your mom that day. The kind where you had to hide your mom under the bed. The kind where you had to eat by 6 because he removes the fuse from the main power supply, and violence was order of the day.
Okay.
The only time we would feel safe was when he was away to go visit his girlfriend. That's the only time there was some breathing room. So going out to play with my friends and all that, and then someone telling you, your mom is being beaten, hurry. You get there, the back balcony, and you find your dad holding a knife to your mom's throat. And you're stuck.
Wow. All right. Quite heavy.
Yes.
Quite a start. How old were you then?
My mom died when I was 8, so from let's say 3 to 7 years, that was the norm. Those are the things I could see for myself, I could remember, where if you hear a thud, you know that's your mom being hit.
Any happy moments? Do you have any?
My birthdays.
Okay.
My birthdays, because those are the only peaceful days, so it was guaranteed one day a year where cake would be baked. My mom never bought cake. She was a really good cook, so she'd bake and the whole family would be there, and that day there would be no chaos. Okay. So looking back at my childhood, my peaceful moments are my birthdays.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, quite heavy, Daktari, right there. This is a child from age 3, she says, and age 8, she loses the parents. So, of course, there's a lot of childhood trauma here. Yeah. Before we get deep into the topic, probably for the sake of our viewers and listeners who may not be aware or may not understand what childhood trauma is all about from a clinical perspective, maybe then, how would you define that?
Cindy, let me just start by saying that must have been unimaginable and horribly painful. We can only imagine, because going through that as a child, that must have been heavy on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Cindy has described basically an example of what childhood trauma is.
Yeah.
It's being exposed to events or experiences
Yeah.
that are beyond your coping abilities, that are emotionally destructive, that are emotionally distressing. Yeah. And in her case, it was a chronic situation. It was continuous. There are people who get exposed maybe one-off. Yeah, but in her case, it was constantly. It was a chronic situation. She had to live in that environment. So childhood trauma is when you're exposed to any extreme, emotionally distressing experiences or events that are beyond your coping ability. Especially as a child, you've not developed much of coping abilities, and given that environment. So yes, that's what, in a nutshell, childhood trauma is all about. Yeah.
Wow. So Cindy, you lost your mom at the age of 8.
Yes.
How did that change you, or how did that change your world?
I was the one taking care of her in the hospital because no one was willing to help.
Yeah.
Now I have 2 sisters who they were doing their Form 4 in a different town. So they could not come to help because it was around the time KCSE was ongoing.
Yeah.
And going back to my mom had left now the house we were in for my now stepmom to live there with my dad, and we moved back to the village. So in the village, they also came and she was beaten afresh, and I think all that was just too much because her body just gave in, and I had to take care of her. My dad had gone back, so he had refused to provide for me. He was telling me the only way he would buy me shoes or anything was if I left my mom and went with him, which I refused. So that year, I think I went to school with Umoja slippers. And then mom gets sick, gets hospitalized. I go back and tell my grandmother, my dad's mom, that mom has been hospitalized. And she says, in Luo, translated to, go and come back with a casket.
Your grandma?
So indeed we came back with a casket, but that was the heaviest because now I had to look for people to help my mom. We had nothing, and there were no phones at that time yet. Yes, there were phones.
Not everyone could access them.
But then I think you needed money for simu ya jamii. So I think we needed 150 shillings for a certain medication, and I only had 20 shillings, which was my pocket money. So walking back to the hospital to tell the doctor, there's no money. I meet my grandfather's brother. They were not in good terms with my family, the family issues. But he is the one who took over now, taking care of my mom. But at that age, I knew you can't rely on anyone. There is always somebody. Like, you can't rely on family, basically. So later on, my mom's brother came in, and then they took over taking care of my mom, took her to a better hospital and all that. But by the time my mom was dying, I was done with people. I didn't want any interactions. And after she died, I went to live with now her mom, my maternal grandmother. She saw what had happened to me. Like, she could tell my system was crushed. I was not a child anymore. I was used to being this mature 8-year-old who could handle everything, cooking, cleaning, errands, everything. So she broke that mature 8-year-old down to being a child again.
Wow. I mean, evidently your world changed after the loss of your mom. I mean, it's quite evident. Dr. So what happens psychologically and also emotionally to a young child like Cindy at the time, losing a parent at a very tender age? What happens to them?
A lot happens, both emotionally, psychologically, and functionally, and even behaviorally. Cindy's case, of course, is quite unique because she was in the thick of things, and she's talked about taking over as a parent. She's taking, that's called parentification. She was parentified at a very young age. So her case is, one of the extreme cases.
Yeah.
But under more regular circumstances, if there is anything like that, and anybody who is exposed to trauma, it's not a regular circumstance anyway.
Yeah.
Emotionally, these children become angry, they become fearful, they become anxious. There's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of grief because they've lost their childhood. Yeah. So and of course in this case Cindy lost her mom.
Exactly.
So she's dealing with a lot of questions. Yeah, so there can be also existential questions.
Yeah.
Where she's asking the big questions about life. Why? Why is this happening? So there is the emotional aspect which I've talked about.
Yeah.
Then there is behavioral aspect. We can come in terms of them not being able to even sleep.
Yeah.
They are, depending on what stage of development they are.
Yeah.
It can. You might find, let's say it was at a younger age, you might find a child, going back to things that they had already overcome.
Yeah.
So let's say a child who was already, well trained.
Yeah.
They can go back to bedwetting at such a so behaviorally these are just some of the examples. So they can be having lack of sleep, appetite change, loss of concentration, and not being able to perform in school.
Right.
Yeah, or to to focus on the activities that they're needed to focus on. Then functionally, of course, they are not able to function normally. Yeah, and then it can even, of course, spread to, at such a young age, it affects the brain of the child developmentally, the cognitive functioning of that child.
Okay.
So what Cindy went through actually is classified under what we call adverse childhood experiences, because she experienced abuse, she experienced neglect.
Yeah.
She was living in a dysfunctional home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically she went through. It goes beyond childhood trauma.
Yeah.
So it crosses over to what we call adverse childhood experiences, which has been found to even affect the development of the brain. So it causes even some parts of the brain to shrink. So it can affect future learning. It can affect the way these children interact even with their classwork, for example. And it also affects how these children or these individuals go on to relate with people. You've heard Cindy say that she ended up knowing that she cannot trust anybody. So you lose trust in people because nobody is dependable.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just to mention a few of the ways that it can affect a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cindy, how do you feel right now? Because Dr. has talked about a lot of things that probably you feel or you felt. What do you feel right now?
I am feeling like loads are being released day by day, and my work exposed me to something even crazier, because I realized I learned to read body language and read the room before I needed to know how to read the room. I can tell when you're angry, when you're approachable, when I should stay away, when I should approach.
All right.
So currently, I think that is one of the things that helps me do what I do best, where I understand operating from trauma, but you don't need to operate in it in a negative way. You're able to operate in it from a positive angle.
Yeah.
So currently I feel like the work I do is not just empowering other people, it's also helping me
Wow.
interact with people better, and because as you teach, you learn also.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking about your mom went back home and all that, you mentioned something to do with a stepmom. Was a stepmom in the picture from the, is your dad polygamous? Was she, you know, part of the family? Did you find her, or how is it like that you had a stepmom or you have a stepmom?
She met my dad in the bar. She was a bartender in '98, and I think the slang statement for it was Aliango Kia engineer. So Mani was there, and she wanted to be part of that by all means possible. So they would gang up against my dad and beat her, against my mom and beat her together.
Yeah.
And then there's a day, so when they started having issues, my stepmom came into the picture. My mom would be kicked out, and she went and rented a house somewhere close by. So one day my sisters who were going to school passed by and bought me oranges, and I was beaten for getting the oranges. I still have scars from that beating. And then my mom came to visit, and she came at the time when my dad was working in shift, but my stepmom was there.
Yeah.
And my stepmom called my dad to come back. They started beating her, and she went to bring the machete. I don't know why they liked it though. They went to bring it, so I don't know what their plan was.
The two of them?
My stepmom rushed back into the house to bring the machete, and I don't know how my mom escaped, but I think neighbors came in to help. Yeah. So my stepmom came into the picture as what we call nowadays a side chick.
Yeah.
But then she gradually moved in.
She gradually moved in.
Yes.
Dr. What does that do to, she's still alive, right?
Yes, she's still alive.
What does that do to her, Cindy, or any other person watching or listening? Like, this is her trauma. This lady must be part of her trauma. But now she's supposed to be a mother to her. She's supposed to live with her, respect her. What does that do to her in terms of even the healing journey?
It is actually destructive for her, because of course, with the events that she already shared, it goes on to lead to her mom, you know, losing her life. So I want to believe that even as a child, you're looking at this person as an intruder who has broken your family. Much as you are being called upon as a child to respect her as a mom, it does not add up to you, because this is somebody who has come and displaced your mom, has come to break your family, has come to break the quote-unquote peace that was there, even though from what she has shared, there wasn't much peace to talk about. But sometimes, you know, in a child's mind, it's better that, you know, her mom being there and they're suffering in it together than a third party coming in. So it must have been devastating for her, and it must have like been sort of the last, you know, nail, because what we were holding on to now has come to pass, has come to be destabilized completely. So her world must have broken further beyond what it was already. So the last hope that was maybe there for her must have been shattered completely.
Wow. And just, you know, apart from Cindy's story, that Terry, probably someone is watching and they're in this space where they need to protect their peace. Probably they're going through a different trauma altogether, not necessarily the childhood one, but for them to protect their peace, they find it difficult because, again, let's say it's a father-daughter, not necessarily to that extent, but you keep seeing this person. Is it possible for you to heal? Probably it's a father with a daughter. There's a way they just treat them, not necessarily to that extent. How do you heal? This is your parent, you're living with them in the house. Is it advisable to probably take some time off?
If you can, but not everybody is privileged to have that option
Right.
of moving out.
Especially as a child.
Especially as a child, where will you go? You don't even know where to begin. This is your home. This is all you have, and you're dependent on this parent. And this person who is supposed to be protecting you is the one who has let the ball drop and letting all the abuse come. Probably is the one abusing you or perpetrating the abuse that you're going through. So where are you going to go as an 8-year-old child, or as even a younger child, or even as a teenager?
Yeah.
So you are stuck in this position or this situation. It's difficult to heal while you're there.
Yeah.
Because the perpetrator or the person causing you the pain is still there.
Yeah.
The only possible way of healing is when you separate yourself from that situation. Because even if you had the privilege of going through maybe counseling at that moment, how are you going to navigate that? Because at some point the counselor will want the perpetrator to be there for the healing to be complete, because you'll want to confront the perpetrator. You'll want to sit in a panel like this with the perpetrator, and the counselor would guide you through a situation where you are given the opportunity to ask, maybe if it's your father, that I'm having this kind of challenges. Why are you doing this? What happened? So it's not possible to heal under most circumstances when the perpetrator is still within the same environment.
All right. Wow, Cindy, what is, have you sought therapy first?
I did seek therapy at some point because my life was now dysfunctional. I had nothing going on for me, no social life, no professional life. I was just stuck there because also, like, after high school, you know, I was hopping from one relative to the other. It was not easy either because, you know, I don't like bread, but then, like, I'm in your house and you eat 6 slices of bread. I get accused of eating all the bread. So, and I remember one of my aunts' place, I was not allowed to sit on the chair because I was a chokora. Yes. So it was not easy. Now, I disconnected from everybody and I had to figure out now who is Raila, what next after this. So I sought therapy and it helped me. I did it for a while, but then after that I picked it up on my own. Why there's, let me say, tools that were provided by the therapist. I started using those for myself, and it helped me get to a place where I was able to now stand on my own. But therapy is not the only, is not the thing that helped. Therapy opened my eyes, but the extent of the damage I had undergone is what made me get out of that situation, because I realized I was no longer a member of the family. I was just another person, another responsibility to be managed, and that's for most of my relatives who are taking care of me, except for my maternal side of the family, because it's only my uncle and the wife. They are the only people who provided a safe space for me. But then I was a pawn in people's game of power, like a volleyball being tossed left, right, and center. So they want to have me, but my dad and his side of the family cannot allow me to go there because they need to. I don't know what was going on between them as adults, but my dad and his family, they would not allow me, because even when my grandmother died in 2010, I had to go back to my dad to get a birth certificate, and he decided to keep me. I'm not going back to school where I was. So my grandmother died in 2010. I was not allowed to go and bury her, and she's the one who was taking care of me. So there was a lot going on, and in 2018, surprisingly, is when I woke up, for lack of a better word. I woke up from that because things happened, and my sisters and my stepmom and my dad, everything was just mixed up. And learning that, hearing people say that wewe ni mzigo niliachiwa na mama, or stepmom saying sikuelewa kwa iboma kulea watoto wafu, such kind of statements, you wake up and you're like, okay, high school, it was a struggle to finish, but I was able to finish, although my stepmom and dad kicked me out of the house the day before I started KCSE. And my friends had to help me because now they would go around the estate. We know such and such a person is around your size. Let's go see if they have a skirt. Let's go do so. They helped. We went to school. We were running behind the invigilators going to do our KCSE.
Cindy.
Yes. So.
Wow. Keep talking to us on 20316 SMS line, 0786316316 is our WhatsApp line. And remember also to be part of our community, which is the partners, and keep supporting us through our paybill number 316 and the account name shall be your telephone number. Thank you so much for your feedback. I can already see Akisa Inyele, a very good morning, Sally and the guest. Cindy's story is so heavy. Indeed it is, Akisa. How can one tell someone has childhood trauma, and what can one do to help at least all the right words to say? Daktari, that would be yours to probably respond to. How can one tell they have childhood trauma?
When I started by describing what childhood trauma is. Those are emotionally distressing experiences that are beyond the coping ability of an individual.
Yeah.
And of course, the person writing is an adult. So when you went through difficult circumstances, extreme experiences, they stay with you.
Okay.
Especially if you don't get an opportunity to process those emotions. So if you've been exposed to any form of abuse, it can be verbal abuse, it can be physical abuse, it could also be emotional abuse, it could be sexual abuse. Then, and if this happened to you between the age of maybe 0 and let's say 7 or 8, but when you look at adverse childhood experiences, they talk about 0 to 17. Yes, because up to 17 you're still classified under that space of childhood, and so anything that happens to you when you're below 18, if it was it could be abuse, it could be neglect, it could be dysfunctional environment, and that is beyond your coping capability. We're not saying that that one time that a parent is upset at you and it's yelling at you, maybe you get a spanking, that may not really count as traumatic unless it was maybe injurious to you. We're also not dismissing anybody's experiences. But the effect has to be extreme, and it has to be distressing for it maybe to be seen as a traumatic experience. The second part of the question,
she also asked then, what can one do to at least help or the right words to say?
That is, if you're interacting with somebody who has experienced any trauma, okay, the phrase that we normally say that it is okay, it is not okay, it's not okay with that person, because you don't know, you don't understand what they went through. The phrase that you can use may be something like, that must have been difficult for you. That makes that person feel validated, because when you say it is okay and you're not the one who went through that experience, like Cindy's sharing her story, we can't say we know what she went through. We can't even begin to understand what she went through. So telling that person that must have been so difficult, is there anything that I can do? How can I support? Those are the words that maybe you can support that person with. If you realize that the person is experiencing extreme emotional challenges, then maybe you can
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dr. Harry, for that. Cindy, in this journey, have you maybe Dr. Harry first, before that, let me get another question. There's someone here saying, good morning, Sally. Please ask Dr. Harry, how can I know my childhood experience counts as trauma? We've responded to that. Do we need to revisit painful memories in detail to heal from them?
That's a great question. You know, there's the group of thought, or the group of you know, thinking that you don't need to go back to the pain. You don't need to revisit the pain to heal from it. But there is some category, or it depends also on what the traumatic experience is. Some of them, because when you're exposed to trauma, what the brain does, it protects you from experiencing that overwhelming, you know, the overwhelming side effects, because it becomes overwhelming to the system. Because what happens, the brain is wired to protect us from any distress. So the brain is likely to sweep some of these distressing effects or distressing responses under the carpet, so to speak, so that you do not stay in that continuously stressful state. Because when the body is responding to a stressful state, there is a way our biology is affected. So the brain's work is to help the body to live in what we call a homeostasis, which is like a balanced state. So any irregularity, it works hard to bring it back to a balance. So when you don't process the trauma, there are some traumatic experiences that when you don't process, they resurface in different ways. So that's why some traumatic experiences need to be processed in a safe environment with a counselor or with some support that can help you to release those emotions. Because again, the brain, because it packs these traumatic memories or experiences, they are not organized. So the way you experience them is not in an organized manner. So the processing helps you to organize them so that you recognize them for what they are, you feel the emotions, and you are able to acknowledge that that was painful.
All right. Wow, quite profound, Dr. Harry. Thank you so much for that. Cindy, as Dr. Harry is talking about that, there's also the question of losing one's identity. I don't know if in all this traumatic experience you lost your, or felt you lost your identity at some point?
That's true. I did, because looking back at who I was, in as much as life was wild or violent or chaotic, but when my mom was there, I was able to do everything I wanted to do. I became a public speaker when I was still in kindergarten. I was doing narratives, I was doing poetry, I was going to festivals. I was this confident girl that who had the audacity to do whatever she wanted to do. And when Mom died, I lost my identity. I started surviving, you know. I'm living with people who have made it clear, especially from 2010 onwards, after my grandmother died. I live with people who have made it clear that they're managing with me as another responsibility. So I had to do everything by all means possible. Don't complain, don't ask any questions, don't speak unless spoken to. And the confident girl became now a people pleaser. She stopped taking part in activities that she loved. She just sat down, because I used to write articles in one of my extra notebooks. And one day I was sent to the shop, I come back, I find them sitting there with the articles I'd written. So that level of invasion of privacy, now I had to limit what I can let on to be accessible and everything. So from being an open book to that. And then, like Dr. Arias said, our brain functions differently. So even after you're out of that situation, you're still on survival mode.
Okay.
Where do you go? What do you do now? Say I've left my toxic situation, I've come to Sally, and still around Sally, I'm cautious.
Right.
I can't be myself yet. So everything I do, remember, life waits for nobody. Life moves on, but you're still stuck in the same cycle of you need to make sure nobody gets to know everything about you. Expose yourself just enough for you to be known, but not to be thoroughly known or well known. And you find that that is not who you are. There's not this crisis where I'm supposed to be doing something different, but now the only thing you've known is how to survive. So how do you come out of that survival mode and embrace the person that you know you're supposed to be? Because deep down you'll know that I am not supposed to be here, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I am supposed to be doing something greater, something much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, as we speak about all this, probably a question, maybe even our viewers or listeners may want to know, have you forgiven your father to this point?
Yes. Forgiveness, yes, I've forgiven. And I learned to forgive everybody. I stopped operating as Cinderella, because Cinderella was a people pleaser, the one who would drop everything to come to your aid just because she wanted the recognition, the validation, the acknowledgement. But then when I realized that it's never going to come, I need to set boundaries for me to be a better person, not for myself, but for the people around me.
Okay.
I chose forgiveness. And forgiveness does not mean that you have access to me, though.
Okay.
Yes.
Forgiveness, still you're very protective of your space.
Yes, because giving you access to me, especially if you've proven time and time again that you're not going to change. Because I think the reason I was staying around them for that long was because I hoped they would change. Or they would see that what they did was wrong and they didn't do, but that never happened. So I learned that there are people who hurt you and they don't even know they hurt you. So forgive and pull yourself out of that position that is causing all this chaos. So can I help if I'm in a position to? Yes, but I will not tilt my cup to point to you, yet I'm not overflowing. So I know it is not the best way to use the Bible, but my God tells me I'm supposed to operate from a place of abundance and overflow. So everyone needs to catch the overflow, but it's not me to tilt my cup, because I realized I was tilting my cup and remaining empty.
I hear you. Thank you for that. I think there's so much we need to at least touch on the social because of time. I'm going to read this. Someone says, "Hi Sally, I feel so sorry for Cindy. I'm just wondering, what creature is her stepmom? My mom died when I was 8 years, and my current mom joined our family when I was 11 years. That's 3 years later. She has been one of a kind, a great mom." You know, that sounds so good to have a stepmom who's a great mom. She loves us to a point where people keep saying we are mama's boys. She will tag us along every trip. In fact, she prefers me driving her to functions than dad. The only people who know she's a stepmom are close relatives. Otherwise, all my friends know she's my biological mom. That's a positive, isn't it? Amazing. Because normally we know stepmoms to be the
wicked.
You know? Yeah. Then there's also another one says, "Good morning, Sally. It's the words that hurt more than a person. It hurts more than physical torture. Being told wewe ni mzigo, niliachiwa, na sijakuja kulea watoto wa watu hurts. That broke me badly. Can forgiveness really apply in such a case? No, we simply convince ourselves that we are forgiven, but what we all call forgiveness is just making boundaries for self-peace." And I think he just talked immediately as you're actually talking about you've mentioned, Then the other one is, "Hello family media. no, I think that one probably may not be for us, but it will be taken care of. So forgiveness, Daktari, very briefly as we come towards the end of the show, is it possible to heal without forgiving?
Forgiveness is a big one. And maybe just let me say that you forgive for yourself.
For yourself.
Yes, you choose to forgive.
Right.
Yes. Because when you don't forgive, you're in constant state of survival, like Cindy was saying. You're in constant pain. It's like the heart, you're being hurt all over again every time you think about it.
Yes.
So when we forgive, we choose to forgive for our own sake. Somebody said that when you don't forgive, it's like you're drinking poison and you expect the other person to die.
Right.
Yeah, so, look at the irony in that. And forgiveness has been found to even bring medical, conditions. It leads to people developing autoimmune disorders, sicknesses, high blood pressure, and so on. So we are encouraged to forgive, but for ourselves. Cindy mentioned something that sometimes somebody might wrong you, but they don't even know they wronged you.
Right.
So you are holding your breath, waiting for them to forgive, to ask, to
apologize.
To apologize.
Yeah.
It's never coming. How long will you hold on?
Right.
You are stuck in that space. That person has moved on. So that's why, as we end, forgive for your own sake.
Wow.
And for those difficult, I know there are things that are done to us that, like one of the listeners is saying, it's difficult to forgive. We go back to God and ask God
right there
to teach us how to forgive.
Yes, Doctor.
Because He forgave us in spite of the sins that we have committed. Or He forgave us. He forgives us. He keeps forgiving us because we keep sinning and we keep going back to Him. And He keeps forgiving us.
Right.
So may God teach us how to forgive. That's always my prayer.
Lovely.
May God teach us how to forgive. In those cases where we feel this is too much, I can't forgive this. I'll forgive, but I'll not forget. You have not forgiven.
Conditions are there.
Conditions are there.
Right.
May God teach us how to even forgive.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daktari, for that. Cindy, probably your parting shot. I know there's so much to talk about. But just, in a few seconds, what would you like to say as we end the show?
Just to repeat what Daktari said, you don't forgive for others, you forgive for yourself. And you don't get to that point of forgiving for yourself unless you've unpacked and seen what role you played in that. So identify the role you played in that, and if there is no role, understand that it's not your job to change others. So that is something I learned. I'm still learning to rebuild my self-esteem, especially within social circles, but my boundaries, also I have boundaries, not walls. So learning to identify the two and creating healthier boundaries and building healthier relationships where I'm not taken advantage of and I'm also not taking advantage of others. But it's a journey, one day at a time.
A day at a time.
Yes.
That's the right place to end this show. Thank you so much for even, I don't like that they say you're so strong. I know you're not. It has taken the grace of God, like we discussed behind during the break. And I just want to thank God for you, for the strength He's given you. Asante sana for making time and being here. Daktari, as always, thank you so much for always sacrificing and being here. But the last comment before we go, my director today's got a, hello family, Pastor Peter, listening from Gong Road. May the Lord give her peace. May the Lord give her grace to heal quickly so that she experienced the best of her future. Amen. And indeed, amen. Pastor Peter Manotti, thank you so much. And unfortunately, we have to come to the end of this amazing show. I just want to say a very big asante sana for being part of this conversation, for your engagement and feedback. Thank you very much. May God bless you. And also, I want to remind you, we had mentioned about our pay bill number. Also, we do have our cooperative account number, which is 011 6,799 100, and the account name is TBN Family Media. God bless you even as you purpose to give and support this amazing ministry, as you keep holding our hands as we work together to bring you such amazing, impactful conversations that heal, that impact lives in different ways. God bless you and keep you. See you again tomorrow on Matters Finances when you talk about financial privacy. God bless you and see you tomorrow.